Welcome back to the Nullified Take channel here on YouTube, where I've got the TNT takes for you on Survivor 44, Episode 4. That's right, I'm back, and we're talking top 5 takes here for what was a pretty intense and crazy episode. I'm still trying to figure out who the hell Felicia is, and why Felicia wasn't Sarah in this last vote, but let's get straight into it. Takeaway number 1 is that we've got a new variation on the tribe swap for the new age of Survivor. Now, a lot of fans have been asking for a tribe swap to mix things up a little bit before we get into a merge situation, and it's been kind of limited in regards to what we could do with these very small tribes in the game, and they seem to have moved away from tribe swaps as a whole, which I do miss. I still miss that moment where Jeff says, right, drop your buffs. You know, you're going to collect in this random bag some buffs that will tell you where you're going to go next. I miss that moment, but they bring it back here with a bit of a variation, and they bring in the no-name island again. After Sokka wins the reward challenge, they get to choose 2 people from the losing tribe and 1 from their winning tribe to go out on this journey, and they choose both Jamie and Carson to go out there, and surprise, surprise, Josh, the person who everybody in the Sokka tribe trusts the least, is the person who's going to go out on this journey, which to me made absolutely no sense because, you know, what's the chances of this guy coming back and telling them the truth about what happened on this island? So I don't understand why he was the person that they chose to go out there. But as they go on this trip, guess what? You know, this game of Survivor, this new age game where nothing comes free, they get a free hidden immunity idol to save them in the next spot. They can use this hidden immunity idol. It's got an expiration date, so by the merge, it's not going to be valid anymore. And it's going to help them if they go to this new tribe that they won't get voted out immediately. So it will upset the power structure within that tribe. And I've got to say, getting a free immunity idol, swapping them at this stage when you've got tribes like Tika who only had 4 players, that puts 3 players in severe risk. You've got someone like Carolyn already with an idol in that tribe, so that really put only Yam Yam and Sarah at risk for this specific vote. I felt like it was a bit overpowering, and it was again the producers trying to do the most at this point. Alright, moving on to takeaway number 2. Josh thought that he was in a really good position in the Sokka tribe. He saw himself as the swing vote in regards to Danny and Heidi and then Matt and Franny within the game, and he thought he was good everywhere, but clearly there is a bit of lack of social awareness from Josh in this game, and he doesn't fully understand how he's coming across. He's keeping things away from his tribe mates, and they're obviously picking up on it. Like we saw when he got into the new tribe, Tika, he didn't tell them that he was a surgeon when he clearly told someone at the reward challenge or one of the previous immunity challenges at a puzzle that he's good with his hands because his job requires that. He should have said he's a physiotherapist, because that would have made more sense, right? They have to use their hands to do sports massages and things like that. But immediately his new tribe picks up on the fact that he's not being truthful, and I think that this first tribe, Sokka, very much don't connect with Josh as much. Like Heidi is seen saying in the previous episode that she's got the least connection with him in the game. And I think because of that, Danny is now looking at a new potential alliance with the power couple in the game, and Matt and Franny, because he knows that if they do get to emerge, they're probably not that likely to turn against each other. So maybe there will be a little bit of certainty and solidarity between these players from Sokka if they do get to the merge. But, you know, Josh, he thought he was in a good place, but this merge or swap at this point in the game couldn't have come at a better time for Josh, because at least he gets an idol which secured him his next spot, because I think he would have been gone if Sokka went to Tribal Council again, and he can go in there and severely mess up the power structure within the Tika tribe. Now, the biggest question for me throughout this whole episode was, would Josh play the idol or would he keep it and try and make a big gameplay move by playing it on Carolyn so he could get the vote that he wanted? But he does ultimately, I think, make the right decision. You're in a new tribe. You don't know these people. They've had 8 days to bond or 9 days to bond before you joined this tribe. You don't know if Carolyn really is on the outs as much as Sarah and Yam Yam wanted him to believe. But it was interesting here, and more so interesting from Carolyn, because Carolyn didn't want to be anybody's pawn in this moment as well before they went to Tribal Council. Moving on to do takeaway number 3. At this stage, I don't know how Tika is going to survive in this game, because, you know, Carson made this move to keep Carolyn, which, you know, he did a tweet out there saying, do you guys think I did the right thing? And I tweeted back at him saying, hey, you're out there, boss. You know what's best. You know these players. But when it comes to Survivor, I would probably choose predictability in front of unpredictability any time of the week, any day of the week, basically. And Carolyn is going to be an unpredictable force throughout this season. I think she's amazing TV to watch and observe. And if she does go to the end and win this season, she would be a hell of an entertaining winner. I don't know how she's going to do it, but she definitely has some good reads on the game. And in this specific episode, when, Yam Yam says to her, you're going to be the swing vote, or the target that we're going to give Josh. I think that is something that she had the right read on, because if Josh did play the idol for himself, if he had one, she would have always been the next person to go. And especially when he lets her in on the fact that he does have an idol, she had no choice but to switch her vote to Sarah in this spot. But I can see real fractures between Yam Yam and Carolyn, who seem to be this tight-knit unit previously. There is a bit of annoyance in the faces that she pulls to Yam Yam when he says that she's going to be the vote again, she needs to fall in line, and she wants to be her own player in this game. Carolyn has been watching this show for a long time. She's been wanting to go out there and play, and I think that she is playing her own game. But because of that, you now have a very fractured Yam Yam and Carolyn back on that Tika tribe. Will they even work together, or is Yam Yam now on the outside? And Carolyn, maybe her best bet at this stage is to jump on the Josh train and hope that she can get in with the numbers with Soka if they do get to the merge. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays moving forward. And obviously on the other side of this, you've got Carson, who's gone over to the Ratu tribe. He now is starting to build allegiances with Matthew in that tribe, and maybe that is something where Matthew thinks that there's some solid numbers that he can pull in with the likes of a Yam Yam, a Sarah who he doesn't know is voted out, and a Carolyn in the game that they can use together if they do get to the merge, because Soka seems pretty unbeatable at this stage, almost like they won't lose any of these immunity challenges before they go into the merge, and they might go in there with the most numbers, even though there is still an equal playing field between Ratu and also Soka. You've got to be the person who strikes first at this stage. But one of the things that was interesting for me is that I didn't fully understand how Sarah jumped in the hierarchy ahead of Carolyn, and that Yam Yam was willing to sacrifice Carolyn in this spot rather than Sarah. Was very, very shocking to me, and I feel like we're missing a lot of context with these shorter episodes. I'm just watching Australian Survivor now, which is finishing. It's got hour-long episodes. You get to see a lot more of the camp life, I feel like, in an extended cut. And again, Survivor US, they really give you very, very minimal of what's actually going on there, because I feel like there's this rift that maybe have formed over the last couple of days or weeks, and maybe Carolyn and Yam Yam have worked on each other's nerves a little bit. Maybe more so Carolyn is being annoyed by Yam Yam in this spot. He does say he sometimes puts his foot in his mouth. The other thing I wanted to talk about while we're on the Tika tribe is that I felt really sorry for Sarah when she got this fake idol that Carolyn put her on this hunt to go and get it with the little cross, and she finds it, and she's legitimately so excited to get an idol in the game. I really felt bad for Sarah, because I feel like in another season she could have been a good player. And again, we see another young strategic girl that wants to play a strong and aggressive game screwed by some of the stuff that production has done and introducing these fake idols. I'm not a fan of production entering the game as a player and putting fake idols out there at all. I'd like to know what you guys think about it. Are you fans of this? Because I felt bad for her. She even left the game thinking that she didn't play the game correctly by not playing the idol. Moving on to takeaway number 4, I touched on it a little bit, but Ratu is collecting numbers. Matthew is working really hard in this episode. He lets Carson in on a little bit of a secret that Brandon found the idol, he played it in the first spot, and he also lets him know that Jamie's got the idol, which he knows is not a real idol. So by giving some information to Carson, he makes Carson feel very comfortable that he wants to work with him. So I do think that this duo is one that we need to look out for, because I think Carson is super strategic. I think Carson is being underestimated by a lot of people because they look at them as this young, innocent kid, and he's doing a good job at playing up that innocent card. And then Matthew is, in my opinion, probably the best player out there at the moment. And the one thing about Matthew that I definitely am fearful of is that he has injured that shoulder. He might still be taken out of the game if that gets any worse. But I hope that he does go the distance and he gets into a merge situation, because I really enjoy what Matthew has done so far in the season. He is preemptively getting ahead of the game and making sure that he's got the numbers going into a merge there to work with Carson, and hopefully some of Carson's numbers with Ratu, they could go up against a very strong and formidable Soka tribe, and that I think is a really, really good move at this stage in the game. Takeaway number 5, and this is one that, I just kind of want to throw out there to the listeners of this show and any of the Survivor lovers that come across my channel. Has Survivor in the new age become a carnival game where it really is up to luck? Because, we think we know the rules. Even within a season, the players go out there, They have to go on this journey. They lose their vote automatically just by taking the risk of jumping on a boat. They didn't have a choice to save their vote, which I really hated, the fact that they took that choice away from players. Then in the very next vote, I think Josh probably got sent on this journey because, Matt knew that there was a good chance that Josh would lose his vote. So it would kind of, again, help them have more votes and sort of eliminate a vote from someone in the game that potentially could go up against them. But then again, he could have also had an advantage. But they changed the rules mid-season where suddenly they get a free idol and they get to go to the other tribe. I feel like there's so much luck involved now with production entering the game that it becomes less and less about skill getting to the end and more about luck, taking the right risk at the right time, climbing on the boat on the right round to go to the right place to get to the next level in Survivor. Has Survivor always been a game of luck? I don't know. I used to think that in the traditional rules of less advantages and trusting players to create the entertainment for us instead of production creating entertainment for us, that is something that I really enjoyed. But I am an old school Survivor fan, so I want to know from you that are watching this new school season, especially those that maybe only got into the show very late on, do you like the direction that they're going in with all of these advantages and the switching up of advantages in the game? I think the birdcage has been really good. I enjoyed that because it created a little bit of drama and people had to think about what's in it and what isn't in it. I just don't like the fake idol component to it because I feel like what Matthew did when he created a fake idol, when it's done by a player, that to me is more exciting, and I give a lot more respect and credit to the player for doing that instead of it being manufactured by the production team. So that's my top 5 takeaways here for this episode. Please be sure to subscribe, hit the like button, put on the notification bell so you can be informed next time I drop one of these videos. Also, look out for our in-depth analysis and recap review of this episode. We're going to have Angel Cake from the Angel Cake Entertainment channel on our channel this weekend at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Saturday to talk about this latest episode. He normally talks about the challenge on his channel, but he has been a day one Survivor fan and always has great insights as well. But for now, grab your torches, head back to camp. I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.